Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, perfect. So we are going to go ahead and get started so that we can stay on track and on time today. But feel free to type any questions into the chat if you have them. Last week it was a little bit tough for me to kind of monitor that, so Nicole's going to help me out and read out any of your questions as those come through. And then if you don't have a question, I'll have you all go on mute right now if you don't mind, and then we'll go from there. So this is just a little bit more advanced DotLoop training than the basic DotLoop class. So we're not going to go over how to create a loop and autofill documents and things like that. We're going to leave those for our basic classes. We realize that a lot of our agents are more advanced nowadays, and we'll continue to host these and show you different things in the next few classes. So probably next week we'll show you a little bit more on working with outside agents, dual agency within the brokerage, things like that that'll help you. And just so you all know, DocuSign and DocuSign Rooms will be going away at the end of May. So that announcement's going to be coming out soon from our team. But just to give you guys a heads up here on this call, our team's finishing moving over several rooms and files from DocuSign first. But that is coming. So it's great that you all will be ready for when that happens. So first we're going to start with your filters today on the main screen here. So you can come into your main screen, and I like to look at everything in a list view or in a compact view. It's only because as admins, we have tons of loops that come through our office all day, every day. So I typically prefer this list view right here to see all of my loops, but a lot of you might prefer the grid view. So if you have a picture on your listing loop or your contract loop, you can go in and easily identify the loop that you want to access. So that is kind of your view setting right there. And then for the filters, you just click right here on filters, and we can go in and save custom filters. So our team has filters for what needs to be processed that comes in from all of you guys. So I have Reese's filters saved and Nicole's filters saved so that if they take a day off and I need to cover for them, I can go in to Reese's filters, apply those, and see what I need to get done for Reese for that day. So this is a good way for admins to kind of track some of our tasks. So I'll go ahead and clear those for now, but if we go back into filters, you guys will use these to sort your loops. So you might want to sort through and say, I just want to see my active listings and my leased properties or something like that. You could click those two, apply, and that's all you're going to see right here. You could click those again, click clear, and add in different filters. And maybe you like to see certain things every day when you come into DotLoop. So you could say, you know what, every morning when I come in, I just want to see anything that is an active listing and anything that's under contract. So you can do that, and then you can save those filters and say, I'm gonna use Kevin, and create and apply. And then every day when you come into your loop, you'll see everything that's an active listing and under contract. So I'm going to clear those for now. Any questions right now on filters? We did have a question about closed files. Sorry, maybe Jackie, is that a question about closed files for DocuSign or in DotLoop?
I think it's meaning the transferring from DocuSign.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get some more information out to everybody, but there is a company that's working to download all of that information so that our agents have that easily accessible to them before we close the program. So we're just kind of waiting to compile all of that information, so I don't want to scare anybody today, but we'll get that all out to you and finish moving over all rooms to DotLoop before we close anything. So if there are no other questions on filters, we're going to go into our tasks. So I love these tasks. So the task, you'll just click right up here. And you can go in and you can see anything that is assigned to you for that day. So if I just go to maybe all tasks or loop tasks, and I can see anything that's assigned to me that's upcoming this week, maybe sometime next week that I need to do, and it'll tell me the loop address. So if I click right there on that address, it'll take me straight into the loop that I'm working on. So this is actually a great way for you all to track your critical deadlines. We've put in some custom loop templates into all of the new loops so that you can track all of your critical deadlines, and you can add in a second set of those tasks as well. So I'll show you those in just a minute. But as we sort through here, I can see anything that's overdue. And then since we're admins, again, we see things for all agents. So I could see who it's assigned to, and they'll all show orange until the agent goes in and puts a check mark by that task to complete it. So if we put a check mark box next to that, it means that the task had been completed. But I don't want to mess with anybody else's task, so I'm gonna leave that for now. I could also click over here on completed and see all the tasks that have been completed. And then this is just all tasks in general. And then you can set up personal tasks for yourself. So maybe you want to remind yourself about something that doesn't have to do with the transaction. Maybe it's that you need to go pick up your dry cleaning or go to the grocery store. I don't know, something like that. You could go in and add in some personal tasks as well. Any questions on kind of the tasks so far? All right, I'm gonna go back to my loops. So we'll click on Henry right there. And I set up a test loop for today. So this is our .loop training test loop that I created. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that all of these tasks automatically generated when I created my loop. So these will automatically come in. And we have two sets of these in case we're hired to do transaction services. I can keep reminders for myself, or Cindy can, or Diana, or any of the team admins or support can keep reminders for themselves. They go into the task, select a date. So you could put a specific date in, or next week. So I'll just say that this is due on the 5th. And then I want to assign that task to myself. So I'll scroll down and I'll put my name right there. And then I'd have to do that with each of these critical deadlines. So I go in and put specific dates in and assign it to myself. You don't want to leave them unassigned when you use these tasks. And then I might want to go in and say that I'm doing transaction services for Jim. I could go in, put the earnest money due date in here, assign this task to somebody, and I could assign that to Jim Lewis, and then put a due date in as well for that task. So you can do that with all of your tasks. If you want to add in custom items, you can do that. Just click Add Task List. That's going to go to the bottom right here. You can click the 3 dots over here, rename that. So you might just say that maybe this is your closing checklist, and you want to add in a couple of things. So maybe a closing gift for your client, title, just anything that you want to put in. And again, you want to assign a due date. You could even say next week, because once they turn orange, it means that they're past due, and you're going to get an email on that every day till you go in and select that that task has been completed.
Jen, there was a question, if they fill in the dates from the view details page, will they carry over?
They will not, unfortunately, but great question. Yeah, so these don't interact at this point in time. Hopefully that's a feature that's coming, but at this time they don't. Any other questions on tasks? You can set up your own custom task templates. So these are just from our admin profile that we have here. But if you go to the top right, you'll see this that says templates. You can click on that, and then you can go down to tasks, and you could add in a task list and put anything in. So these are the task lists that we have added to all of your loops. but maybe you decide that you want a custom task list. You can create that for yourself by just going to this tasks, new task list, and then you could say, and then you could put anything in there. So you could say, and then anytime you go into one of your loops, you could just add this template into your loop. Questions there?
I have a question. If admin has access to custom tasks?
No, I mean, not your custom task list. I don't see any of those, but if you add it to a loop that we see, we could see that at the bottom of your loop because we do have access to everybody's loops and files in DotLoop. But I promise you, we don't have time to go and check in on everybody's personal task list. So, so I'm going to delete this task list for now. So I'm going to click the 3 dots and delete. And you know what? It looks like too, whoever asked that question, you can go over here and hide these and lock them as well. So you could certainly hide your custom task list from the rest of us. So we're just going to go back into that main loop that we had. And I'm going to show you all how to split documents. So I'm just going to say that I received seller disclosures from title, and maybe I need to rearrange and add in a page or something like that. So I'm just going to add a document, and I'm going to add in a document from my desktop. So let's see here. And we're just going to add all those docs in. So as you can see, these are all loading in. Let's just say that I want to go into the HOA financials and split this document. Whoops, I don't know why it's saying, do I want to save? It might still need a minute to load these. These were pretty big files. All right, so I'm going to click into my CC&Rs. And it looks like they're probably 31 pages if there are no additions. So let's just say that I need to take out the last page because they had a new page they need me to add in. Now I know we're not going to go and change anybody's governing documents and send them to clients, but this is just a sample to show you how you could split a document. So you'll go up to the top here to File, and you're going to select Split Document. And you can split it into however many documents you want. But for this training, I just want to split it into 2 documents. And it looks like this is actually a 46-page document. So I could say that I need to replace page 1. So maybe I'm going to say page 1 of 1 is going to be the first page. And then I'll put everything else in 2 to 46. And all I do is click Split Document. And now it says Done. And it takes me into my document that I've split. So if I go back to my loop view, I can scroll down and I can see where this is now the first page of my CC&Rs. And it's just page 1 right there. And then the remaining pages of the CC&Rs are right here. Okay, well, maybe I want to split this even further. So I'm going to go into this pages 2 to 46 that we split, and I want to split that into maybe 5 different documents. So I go over here and I want to split it into 5 documents, and I can say this is part 1, part 2, and this is actually one of my favorite features in DotLoop. It's much better than the DocuSign split feature, I think. I think Nicole might agree with me on that one. So you'd adjust your page numbers for however you want to split something. So maybe I want to do 1 to 1, This is going to be 2 to page 5. Maybe this is 6 to 27. And you can scroll through the pages, see the page numbers here that you want to split as you split the document. So if you forgot what item was on a certain page, you can continue scrolling while you figure out what documents you want to split up even further. So I'm going to go ahead and click Split Document. And now my document's going to be split into 5 different documents. So I'm going to go back to my main page here, and you can see that that went to the top of the loop right there. But you know what? I've decided that I now want to combine all of these CC&Rs back together again. The combine feature's a little different because what you have to do is you have to select all of these documents, and there's no combine button. So what you would want to do is download. And then you can see this is the document. It's been downloaded right there. Now I'm going to add a document in, and I'm just going to take that and drag it right here. And now this document is my full thing of CC&Rs again. So if I click into the document, you'll see that the CC&Rs have been put back together that we split. But I don't like that it's named multiple documents. So I'm just going to go back to that document right there, and I'm going to rename it and just change that to CC&Rs. And then I can get rid of all of these that I no longer need those because I've combined them. So I'll just select all of those and archive. Questions? Let's see. Okay, that's a good question, Kevin. Sometimes you can't split documents if it's like an interactive document from one of the boards. So if it's a board form that's interactive, it oftentimes won't let you split it. So you'd have to make a copy of that document. So let's show you a UAR form maybe. So I'll just go down and let's just say my seller's property condition disclosure. Oops. Okay, we'll take this document right here. I'm going to copy that into my loop. And if I click into this document and I go up to the top here, I don't want to autofill it for right now. Split document is grayed out because this is a UAR board form. It will not let us alter this document. But if I really want to split this document and change it, I can, but it's not going to be interactive anymore. So what I would do to, and I was going to show you all this feature next is how to make a flat copy of a document. I'm going to select this document here, and I can either go to the right here and say make a copy, or at the top, I can click make a copy. But I'm just going to go right here, make a copy, and I'm going to copy this as a flat PDF. So then it's not editable. It preserves any signatures that are there. And then I'm going to put it into my loop. So to loop, and then I'll say .loop training. Here's the loop I'm working in, and I want it to go into the seller's disclosures folder. But let's say if I wanted to put it into the pre-closing folder, I could select that there, but we're just going to stick with that. I'm going to copy the document and click OK. So now the copied document's always going to show at the top of your loop right here. So this was the original one that we brought in that's an interactive UAR form, and this is the copy. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click over here and I'm going to rename this. So I might just rename this copy of SPCD. So now when I go into the document, it's going to be a flat PDF. And now I could go, normally you could split. It says I assigned fields. Sorry, y'all. So you know what? I might have to see if it assigned anything. So if I could unassign fields, then I would be good to go, but it doesn't show that anything's assigned. So normally you can make flat PDFs and split copies, but things don't always go as planned on the Zoom trainings. Any other questions there?
We have a question of what would be some typical uses that we'd want to split a document.
Our team,
if you can't think of one, I can think of one.
yeah, Nicole probably can think of a lot, but sometimes you might have a seller that says, hey, I've updated a couple of my disclosure documents, but I forgot to sign this page and I have this page signed of my inventory list. So I need to split that document out of that inventory list and put the new one back together. So you could split an inventory list and update the pages and kind of do it from there. And Nicole, feel free to jump in with other documents you think of that they would split.
Well, I've just seen when people haven't used the DotLoop template and they've used like documents from another like transaction room or anything, and then they put all of the documents in. So you have your rep C, your addendum, buyer broker, they're all in one file. And so you can use that to split them from there.
Actually, that's brilliant, Nicole. So thanks for saying that. So that's a perfect example. So like if you take this folder right here and select it, and let's just say we download that whole folder. And then we're going to add this document back in. So I'm going to archive the rest of those right there just so we don't see them. So let's just say that for all of your, you know what, I think I just archived my whole folder. Hang on one second. Okay, I did. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Let's just say now we have all of our combined contract documents. If you submit all of these pages to Nicole to process, and Nicole just needs you to fix maybe a limited agency agreement signature, it's going to be really annoying for you because everything you have is going to get returned. And then you don't want to resend this to your client with all of these documents. So you would go back in and you could split this document and you could split it into, I don't know, 5, 6, however many documents you have, and then split from there. So that's a good example, Nicole. Any other questions?
Jennifer, there was an option when you went to split to a flat PDF.
Mm-hmm.
There was an option to copy as a .loop document.
Yes. Okay, let me show you guys that one. All right, so now you can see those documents were split. So a lot of times when you guys have, maybe you have duplicate loops going, certain things like that, you do want to take some documents, leave them as interactive so that somebody could still go in and sign them. So let's just say I take this limited agency agreement and I want to copy this to another loop. So I'm going to select make a copy. Copy as a .loop document to a loop. And then I'm just going to pick my test loop again. And I'm going to put this in my listing documents right here and click copy. So now when I go into my listing documents, it's right here at the top of the folder. And you can autofill the document. So it's interactive. So if you want a document to still be interactive, you want to use the copy as a .loop document. But let's say there is kind of a weird glitch with having addendums signed right now. And it's something, I know I've talked to Tyler about this and several others of you that I'm hoping .loop can figure out, but let me show you an example. So let's go into this addendum here. And it's not an addendum because I split up all of these. So that's a fake one. Hang on one second. Okay, so I'm going to autofill this addendum. Let's just say this is 1. And then let's say I had my buyer sign here and here. And I'm going to assign this field. see. We'll just send it to Kevin. He's usually pretty fast to sign even sometimes. So I'm going to save and share this document. I'm going to attach PDF to email. So we always want to do that for our clients. Click share. Done. And then when Kevin had signed, if I want to then go in and let's say this is maybe I'm working with another agent that uses DotLoop, the other agent isn't usually able to hit accept or counter and then have their seller sign because Kevin's already signed and we can't edit a document once it's been signed. So in this instance, you guys want to make a flat PDF of the document. So you could go up here. We'll just save this for now. And you know what, I don't know if we're gonna have to go back to make the copy. So now we're gonna go into this addendum, make a copy that as a flat PDF to the loop. And I'm gonna put it in my contract documents. And if Kevin had signed this, then I wouldn't clear his signature and I'd have to go in and manually maybe add in some check boxes. So I would say add checkbox here for my seller to sign, select that, and then add in a signature spot for them as well. Questions on that? All right, so I'm going to save that. And then I really hope in 2020 that we don't have to fax any more documents to people. But you would be surprised, we get this request a lot. So sometimes y'all are working with some sort of outside company that doesn't accept email. You can't share a document with them via DotLoop, and you come to us and you're frantic and you need to fax a document. Well, you can do that straight from DotLoop. So all you do is go to the document that you want to fax, click the 3 dots to the right over here, and then just scroll down to fax. And I'll just put the number in. So that's not gonna go anywhere, but this, I could say attention, and then click send. And that's not going to go anywhere since it's not a fax number, but then I could click over here and then go into the history, and I could see, you know, where I faxed this document, it's in progress. And since faxes do take some time, it's not going to say that it was received or that it failed right away, but you could go back and check that right there. Any questions on how to fax a document? Nope. Okay. All right. So let me show you all now how to share your seller disclosures via DotLoop. So you no longer need to pay for a Dropbox account or anything like that. This is actually much more secure than Dropbox. So you can share all of your seller disclosures with the client straight from DotLoop. So you would click all of these documents here. Let's say I've organized them really nicely. I want to pull my transaction doc receipt up here. Let's just say I've pre-filled that. I'm going to select the whole folder, and then I am going to share. So I'm going to share these documents. I'm going to share these with Kevin Larson. He can view only, or I can give him permission to sign if I had assigned fields to him in that transaction document receipt. But for right now, I'm just going to say view only. And then this is the only time that you don't want to attach a PDF to your emails when you share documents with clients. Because if you attach a PDF, this is not going to go through because of the file size of all of these documents. So again, it goes back to where this is similar to some of the file sharing platforms that there are. You can't attach PDFs just because, you know, the CC&Rs and the budgets and aerials and everything, they're rather large, so it's not going to go through. So if I did try to send this to Kevin, we could do a test right now, but I'll click share. It's probably going to give me an error message that it couldn't send them because it was too large. But you know what? It did send them. So I guess there are instances where your file size is not quite as large, and so you can attach a PDF, but for the most part, when you share your seller disclosures, you do not want to attach a PDF to an email. Now, the exception to that rule is that several of your title companies send you documents with hyperlinks. If I share maybe like a client information sheet with hyperlinks, and don't attach a PDF, those hyperlinks are not going to work. So if Metro Title sent me a hyperlinked document, I want to share that one separately with them and attach a PDF to the email so that the hyperlinks work.
Okay, we have a couple questions, Jen.
Okay, go for it.
One is, can we send photos from DotLoop?
Yes.
Two, if we're using Metro, wouldn't we just send their client sheet?
So you can send your client sheet just straight from DotLoop. So I always load all of that straight into the seller's disclosures folder. So what I do is when Metro sends me something, I just click add document and I forward the email straight in so that all the seller disclosures come right into my loop. And then that sheet's in here. I think it comes down to personal preference how you want to share your seller disclosures, but this is an option for all of you, and some of you are still paying for Dropbox accounts, and it's really not necessary because you can do it all right here.
And then the last one is, can we share with the buyer's agent and then they share with their client?
Yes. They would have to either have DotLoop or set up a DotLoop account to share with them in that manner. So that's why when you attach things with a PDF, they can always just forward that document straight over to them. So alternatively, if this wasn't too large to send with the PDFs and it just let us send this through, you could break it up and share it, you know, in 2 sections with them or something like that. But they should be able to keep sharing any documents that you sent to them. Even if they didn't have a DotLoop account, they could set up one. Any other questions?
As long as we're on this topic, Jennifer, something that I've used that might be helpful to a lot of people is on the mobile DotLoop. You're able to use the camera from your phone to scan documents and get them into a loop, which has been really helpful for me at home because I don't have, you know, a full scanner and everything.
Yeah, no, and that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, Brad. That's a good feature. I think you can, yeah, like make copies, scan. It was in maybe like one of those articles that I forwarded over to y'all. I know those emails are kind of big, so I don't know if anybody read through those. So that's a good feature. Another good feature that they have right now is that like your tasks, those can integrate with your Google Calendar. So a lot of our agents are like, don't send me these. I don't do these. I have a Google Calendar. Well, they can sync these directly with their Google Calendar. So it's a good place to keep everything organized in one spot for your deal. I've found that with DotLoop, it's not like we're working out of like 3 and 4 different systems. Now we can, you know, add in all of our documents, disclosures, critical deadlines, and track everything in one spot. But Brad, I'm glad you brought that up on the scanning because that's a really good feature. And then back to somebody's question about sharing a photo in DotLoop. All you'd have to do when you get that photo is save it as a PDF to add it into your loop. So everything does have to be a PDF that that you receive. So lately, when I've been onboarding agents, they are sending me JPEG images of all of their onboarding paperwork that I then have to get over to the Park City Board of Realtors or to Kevin to sign or into our accounting software when I load a new agent in. And I have to convert all of those JPEGs first to a PDF document, and then I'm able to put it into my loop and add in signature spots even if I want to, or even if it was a picture, you could put it in and then share it from there. Any other questions?
They're asking if we can show them how to do a scan.
You know what? I don't have like my phone connected to this Zoom or anything right now. So if it's okay, I might add that to the next time's agenda, or send out a document to all of you to show you how to scan from your phone. Does that work? And we are going to move next to the DotLoop Easy Offer. I think this is a really, really cool tool. And we're going to go into Kevin Murray's loop so that we can set up Easy Offer for him. You know what? This should be switched. Okay, so your listing has to be an active listing if you're going to set up a DotLoop Easy Offer. So what you want to do is we could go into let me back up. What you're trying to do is you're trying to easily share a pre-filled REPC with other agents, so that when you have an active listing, you could text somebody a link. They can get that link to a pre-filled REPC for your property, and quickly and easily send you an offer that's actually going to come right back into your loop. Let's see, I think we might have some questions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my REPC and addendum. And Kevin, is this property going to be sold furnished?
No.
Okay, so if it was going to be sold furnished, I would want to use this personal property transfer agreement. So I have that ready to go for this client as well. But since we don't need that, I'm just going to archive that document there. So I'm going to go into this REPC. I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to open. And I'm going to autofill these documents. So I can go in and autofill everything that I need to about a person, so or a property, sorry. So I could go in and put my seller's name in there. So I don't know what the seller's name is, but I'll just say owner on record for now. Kevin, I'll show you, we can go back and fix this. I just don't want to share your client's name right now. So you can see where it pre-fills your property information right here. It's not going to pre-fill like the tax ID. So you could go pull that from the MLS, put that in here. And then any included items, you could go ahead and put that in if there were any, but since there are not, and it's not going to be sold furnished, we'll just go ahead and mark that are not. We'll leave all of this blank. And then I could go down here and I could add in all of the seller's agent's information. So I could also put in here that Tom Peaks on this deal, and then I could add in Tom Peaks' license number right over here. And then I can keep going with anything else that the client might not know that when they're filling out a REPC. So this one, they've got it pre-filled with the property address, you can see there. So I'm just going to save those documents. And I'm going to go back into my loop. And then what I want to do is I'm going to select both of these. And I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to select Set Up Easy Offer. So select listing agent and select a folder. So I could do a new folder as well, but I could put it in the listing documents. So I'm going to put it in my listing documents. So those documents are now up top here. Let's see, they should be in here. Disregard. Hang on. I'm still learning myself, y'all. Don't give me a hard time. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to disable that link. Here's what I like to do. I'm going to add a folder. Okay, and then I'm going to move my REPC up here and my addendum that I filled in.
While you're doing that, we have a question of why we would do this.
Okay, just because I think it's a neat thing if, let's say you have another agent that says they're driving to Moab for the weekend, but they really want to get a REPC filled out on your active listing quickly to get it to you. And you're like, hey, well, I have like a couple of other people interested, hurry up and get it over. I think it would really speed up the process to get you guys a pre-filled offer. So sorry guys, I'm backtracking a little. I've added a folder that's my .loop easy offer folder, and then I've put in the documents that I'm going to want visible to people. So now I'm going to go up here to the set up easy offer, and I'm just going to put that on my .loop easy offer folder there. And then here's the link right here that it generates. So I'm going to click save. So now just this folder is easily able to be shared with somebody. So if you click that, here's your link. You can just copy that link. And so I'm going to actually just email this if I want to send that over to Kevin Murray. And he can go into his browser, click on that link, and it's going to give him a way to just quickly pre-fill that REPC, share it with his client, and then share it back with Kevin. Any questions on that? This is also kind of cool. You could use it too if you're working on some projects and developments. Let's say you have a lot of developer listings. Maybe there are some marketing materials that you want to quickly be able to share with people along with a REPC and your addenda. You could put those marketing materials in here, and anything that you want to quickly share with somebody, you could just select that, set up the easy offer, and then you can send that link. You can also send that link via text to clients as well. So they get that via text. They can fill out that REPC on their phone, share it with their client, and get it back to you via .loop all on their phone.
2 questions.
Okay.
Or 3 questions. So we only want to send them the REPC and addendum?
Yes, so only the documents pertinent to that transaction. So since it's not going to be sold furnished, we're not going to put a personal property transfer agreement up here. If it was going to be sold furnished, we could put that up here. But we don't want to send them any other documents. And this is the only folder that they are able to see in your loop, the one that says accessible via easy offer. And they can only see it when the status is active, or I think when it's under contract, when it's first done. But what you would do is once it does go under contract, you just go in here and disable this link. So you can disable the link at any time.
And then couldn't we just email the REPC instead of the easy link?
Yeah, you definitely can. This is just something that you could take this easy offer link and you can paste it into your confidential remarks on the MLS. And I checked with Bob Bemis on that just to make sure that that was okay. So then somebody might not even reach out to you, and you could just get a pre-filled, offer straight into your loop.
Does the receiving agent need to be on .loop?
They do not, and it'll give them an option to set up an account similar to how a client of yours receives a document, but they do not need to be on .loop.
And then Ramon says limited agency should be included.
Limited agency could be included up there too, yeah, since you don't know, I guess. So you could just take that document, put it up here, and then we could go into that document. We can autofill the doc. And then we can save it. And so you can absolutely have that included as well in case it ends up being limited agency. Good point, Ramon. Any questions on the .loop easy offer? Is everybody awake? If I lost y'all, Rob Lee stopped riding his bike.
We're totally enthralled, Jenna.
Look, y'all don't have to lie to me.
We only lie to you when we're on mute.
Okay, well, I'll open it up now to any questions that you'll have. And then again, we're going to keep doing these DotLoop trainings weekly. We're going to do some basic ones and advanced, just because those of you that are more advanced, we want to be able to kind of teach you some of these like cool, neat new tricks and things like that. So.
Kevin says you should send it to Ramon. Sounds like he must have a buyer.
There we go. I'm going to send it to Ramon.
He's not going to like the offer I make.
No?
No.
It's like mine earlier with my IOU.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Well,
other people saying, yes, please do more advanced. This was very helpful.
okay. I'm going to practice the DotLoop easy offer myself. And y'all are not alone in learning. As you can see, I'm still learning as well. So I just think the easy offer is pretty neat. We actually did this, Transaction Services set this up for, I think it was one of like Bill Rediker's listings. And I think maybe it was actually Kevin Murray that was on the other side of that. I can't remember if that was the correct listing of bills or not that you did, Kevin, but we had that in the MLS remarks. So it's just kind of neat. So you could just tell somebody maybe you're on the road or something and you don't have time to get back to them. You can send them that pre-filled REPC to get you a quick offer over. You can do that via text.
We had a question if there was an effective way to send a fillable SPD through DotLoop.
Yes, yes. So to send a fillable SPCD, let me share my screen again. I'm going to, Kevin, I'm going to set up another one for you. We'll make a nice clean one later. So I'll go back and fix that for you after this call.
Great.
Okay. Whoops, sorry. I want to get out of Kevin's loop before I screw it up anymore.
And I did do it with Bill Rediker. You had it set up with Rediker's property, and it was helpful. It's quick and easy.
Okay, good. And I think that's, it's like if we could make the paperwork process a little bit painless, and you probably think that's crazy that I'm saying that because we harass y'all for paperwork all day long and corrections. So I guess anything we could do to kind of like mitigate the paperwork frustrations and the time you spend on it, I think is helpful. So we're just going to go down to the seller's property condition disclosure. So we can click into this document right here, and we're going to autofill this document here. We're just going to say Bob the builder is the seller here. We're going to pretend that he's signed, and we're going to save this doc. Sorry, we're going to pretend he's not signed because this is our listing. So I'm going to go back to this document right here. I'm just going to click share. And we'll just say Kevin again. I want to make sure this document has fill and sign permissions. So you always have to send your seller's property condition disclosure separate from any other documents you share with a client because you have to give that person fill and sign permissions.
Hello, this is Ramon.
Most of the time when you're, hang on one second, guys.
Okay.
Whoops.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry. I'm not fast enough to change the settings over here, but we might have Ramon go on mute for us, please. But just always make sure you give those fill and sign permissions when you send the document, and you can attach a PDF because they might say that they're terrible at typing and their handwriting's really amazing. You could send them a PDF as well and then hit share. Any other questions there? I don't like to send the documents together with a seller's property condition disclosure because you don't want to send them maybe like your ERS with a seller's property condition disclosure and your data input form. They're going to start changing all the documents you worked so hard to fill out. So just send them the document that you want them to edit. Another tip with that is don't send a husband and wife both fill and sign permissions. We've learned that they don't seem to communicate very well. So the person that is like your main contact point for all the information and paperwork, give them the fill and sign permissions and give the other spouse sign only permissions, because spouses or even business partners have the tendency to go in and they're overwriting each other's additions and edits, not talking to each other, and then you get the document back and it's really screwed up and contradictory, and it's because two people were working in it. So find out who your main paperwork contact is going to be, and then just send one person fill and sign permissions and give that other business partner or person in the trust or spouse sign only permissions.
Okay, is this going to be recorded to the intranet?
It is recording.
Okay, next, can you show us what it looks like to click on the easy offer link?
Yes. So I'm going to go back into Kevin's loop here. And I had actually turned off this easy offer link. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I haven't disabled it yet. So I'm going to just copy this link here. And then they say that you should go into like a new browser when you're doing a test. So let's just go over here, paste that link in. See, this isn't going to work because I'm an admin. So I think and I have all of my stuff kind of, I don't want to clear out all of my browser history and all. This is going to work for you guys and your agents, but I've got my whole account set up to where everything just logs me right back into where I last was. So I might not be the best person to share that.
Is DotLoop working on getting the license numbers and brokerage numbers to autofill?
So your brokerage and license number should autofill in most spots, but the reason why it might not is because what the field is in DotLoop versus what the form field says. So that's the annoying piece of why DotLoop's not going to autofill every document that you have. Same with like, it might say seller in one field and it might say sellers in another field. So it's not going to autofill correctly. And we have a million different forms and different versions. So if the field in the form is not the same as what the DotLoop field is, it's not going to autofill.
Jen, I think the question was around whether the agent's license number and the brokerage number would autofill like in the REPC. And if it's in their profile in the setup, won't it autofill the form already?
Not always. So I don't know that in the REPC, it always autofills. Same with sometimes if you have two agents. So like for instance, like Kevin Murray and Tom Peak, it autofills one of them, but not both of them, even though they're both in the loop and both listed as listing agents. So you do still have to go in sometimes and fix those documents. Any other questions? I'll put all of these autofill items on the list to talk to Evan. I harass him daily, especially during quarantine, but I'll definitely make sure to get those over to him. All right, well, I'm gonna let y'all go, but y'all have a happy Friday, and thanks so much for attending today, and a big thanks to Nicole and Reese for all of your help with this. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.